did they name him Magnifico? And if you have a name like Magnifico, you think some of that would rub off. None of it rubbed off. No wonder his father said, hey, what do you think you are? Magnificent? You're not. You're Magnifico, and you haven't really filled out the shoes yet. Okay, so we have actually finished book 10, and it was really, really good. And at the end, there's sort of a lot going on, as these books always are. As a result, we got to talk about it a little bit. I want to start with Mule and Sonia. Sonia, you'll recall, is Femto's mind reader and his confidant, which is funny because she can probably read his mind too. No, I bet she can't. I bet he's a mystery to her. Mule has just thrown himself at Griffith and said basically, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it, because Griffith saved him from out of the frying pan into the fire. But Mule doesn't know that. So that's an interesting story. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. I see no good coming for either of these.
But I don't think that they're bad people.
No, they're not. Sonia's gonna find, though, that her gift of reading minds, it's gonna cause her trouble.
It's kind of a curse too.
Yeah. I mean, really, do you want to know what everybody thinks? I don't. And do you want somebody else to know everything you think? No, you would avoid those people.
Yeah.
Like the plague. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Very interesting. There's another interesting pathetic character, the Pontiff. And the Pontiff is on his way out anyway. And the Pontiff, by his own admission, has lived pretty much of a worthless life. How he got into that position is basically by never creating any ruffles for anyone else. So he was like, well, let's pick this guy. He won't cause any trouble. But he's looking back on his life now because he's seeing the end of it approaching soon. He realizes, what a pathetic person I am. And he really is a pathetic person. He admits it. I never cared about anybody. I know I'm the head of this big religious order, but I never really opened myself up to God. I never even prayed. I never asked for anything. I never cared. He is the most apathetic person I've maybe ever met. He doesn't care, and he doesn't care that he doesn't care.
Isn't there something in the Bible about being like lukewarm? How that's worse
than... yeah. Be hot or cold, but don't be lukewarm. God will just spit you out of his mouth. And this guy's about to be spit a few hundred yards. And he doesn't know it. And because he's a man who never communed with God, never communed with people, he's not wise. So he gets a vision, if you will, of the evil. And we know he's evil. Don't get me started on the wickedness of Femto, aka may his name be forgotten. Don't start me. But if your last visions in life are a bad guy, you'll easily be fooled into thinking it's a good guy. Just some nice white feathers, a little call from the bird, whatever, and he's fooled. He is totally fooled. Don't be like this guy. Don't be like this guy. So what's going to happen to him? No good. He's a no good Nick, so nothing good's going to happen to him. He's going to be used and abused. He'll find out at the end of his life, and it hasn't happened yet, he'll find out that he was a fool every step of the way. Finally fooled at the end into thinking that this guy was God. What a stunad. Anyway, he's probably sounds like he's an Italian pope, so I can use a Neapolitan name like that, a stunad, a knucklehead. A strumbalad, as my mother would say. Anyway, no respect do I have for this Pontiff. None whatsoever. And I'm sure none of you do either. But there's a lot going on. Guts and his group are really forming. And it's kind of a eclectic group. It always was. I mean, think about Shyster Boy. There's a panel that I wanted to annotate and say to Crystal, check this panel out. Look how little Shyster Boy is next to Guts. He's just a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
He's a tiny little thing. And yet...
Small but mighty?
Small but mighty. He is fearless. You gotta love that about him. Get behind me. This is something we go through all the time. We'll fight our way through these monsters, these hideous monsters. He's as fearless as Guts.
Yeah.
He really is. In fact, all of them, they are faced with the downfall of this township, which is the township that would become the Vandalays, the famous architects, the Vandalays.
Art Vandelay. I'm an architect.
Of which George Costanza is the most famous. But they're not the Vandalays yet. Right now, they're just a powerful family, of which none other than Farnese is part of. But their town is falling because the Kushan are there and they're just destroying everything. Guts, on the other hand, wants to lead his group away. Why? Because he's not there to be a swordsman for this group. They haven't done him any favors or any of his people, not really. And he hasn't always been in the best regard amongst the Pontiff and those folk. And they've got a little witch who would be burned at the stake if they had an opportunity. So he wants to beat it out of Dodge, and that's what he's doing.
What I will say too, that I think hails back to the first book, we see Guts not always help people in need, but because he kind of sees that, like, he doesn't walk through life with rose-colored glasses. He's like, if I go up there and save this woman who's about to be beheaded, then a million other terrible things are going to happen. Yeah. I might die. A lot of other people might die. Like, he kind of sees that things aren't always worth it. Like, he's not, ignorance is bliss for him. Like, he's not ignorant to these things. And I remember Puck having, like, a real issue with that, and Guts telling Puck, like, if you want to save her, then don't make me do it. You go do it. Mm-hmm. Everyone always wants to rely on Guts to, like, solve their problems, fix their issues, fight for them. It's like, why aren't you willing to fight for yourself? When he does see someone willing, like, well, when he sees someone worth fighting for, like Luca and the girls, he'll do it. But if you don't value your life, he doesn't value your life.
Yeah, exactly right. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote a classic essay called Self-Reliance. That's the life of Guts. Mm-hmm. He is self-reliant. Great. He is self-reliant. He often thinks everyone else should be that way, like you said, and they aren't. Yeah. So he is naturally then the leader. And again, he's trying to lead his people with two new additions. One worthless addition, and one earning his stripes, I think it's fair to say. We'll discuss them in a minute. But he's got to get out of there because he's on a mission. After all, what's his mission? We discussed this little brief video we did. His mission is to save Casca, to bring her out of her catatonic state. He's got to get her to his only hope, which is Crazy Cat, the king of the elves.
The medicine man.
The medicine man. So that's where they're going. And Roderick is going to let them use their boat. He's coming along. And Roderick is an interesting character.
He's growing on you.
He's growing on me.
Mm-hmm.
We said that before, but it's really true. He's not about to lose his life protecting this town because he has no attachments to this town. In fact, his 11th, whatever they're called, they really have very little to do with this town either. He says, let's get on my boat. I'm not part of the war. Let's take off. I'm just happen to be going your way. And so
he's willing to fight for him too.
He is. He's not like his funny, pathetic friend, sadly, Farnese's brother, Magnifico. Why did they name him Magnifico? And if you have a name like Magnifico, you think some of that would rub off. None of it rubbed off. Mm-mm. No wonder his father said, hey, who do you think you are? Magnificent? You're Magnifico, and you haven't really filled out the shoes yet. But he comes along because he's opportunistic and he figures there's something in this for me. And by the way, that guy with the big giant sword, he seems like he'll protect me. But Magnifico, does he pull out a sword of his own? No.
But Roderick does.
Roderick does. He's not about to be shown up, especially when Farnese is out there fighting. It's like, I got to do something here. But it's genuine. It's not just because he sees everybody else fighting. He genuinely has some guts genes. And I mean, not guts, no relative to guts, but the genes of a gutsy person. He's got some. So that's a good thing. We like him. We like Roderick. He's got to change his name to Rod.
Why?
I just did.
Oh.
So Rod, because he's just not a Roderick. He's going to lose all that Roderick stuff because he's going to find out that he's on a humbling trek because tough roads will kind of humiliate you and humble you.
I feel like Shyster Boy kind of humbled him a little bit when he was like, all right, get behind me. And he's like, this little kid? Like, I'm supposed to get behind you.
Shyster Boy is just great.
I love him.
He's as brave as Guts. Mm-hmm. Shyster Boy is as brave as Guts. Now, Farnese is there, and she's wielding the sword, and it's a gift from Flora. So you know it's a powerful sword. Mm-hmm. But she's doing her thing. But Guts has taken on the man with elephantiasis, that gigantic trunk. It's a monster. It's a tooth. There's no tusks, really, to speak of. There's just teeth.
Yeah.
All these creatures seem to have really severe overbites. But anyway, he's battling him, and he's like, leave this guy to me. You guys take care of the rest, which are also formidable. But this group that Guts has put together, they're tougher than any group I've ever seen. Honed on the battlefield, honed with the worst of enemies, supernatural enemies, and there they are, all together still.
I was just thinking to myself, like, the one thing about Guts is I feel like he carries, after the Band of the Hawk, like the original Band of the Hawk died, he carries the attributes of all the members of the Band of the Hawk.
Okay.
And I feel like he's tactical like Judo. He's strong like Pippin. He's got like, so I feel like his cunning is coming out a little bit. Like the way he was like, oh, it's not going to be as hard as it was fighting Serpico. That's something Griffith would say. Yeah. Like, I can just see it. And just his ability to, like, stay calm, like Casca does, like, in the middle of chaos. I just feel like it's interesting because he really does have all the attributes. And we're kind of seeing it more and more, like, just in the way that he handles things. Like, previous Guts wouldn't have probably thought to let the elephant ram him into a building so he could climb the stairs so he could stab it through the head.
Yeah,
he would have just gone at it straight ahead and like been crushed a million times and gotten back up. But now he's like starting to like really use those attributes. Even in his fight with Serpico, I feel like they're showing that. Yeah. Like just like the change in him where like he's kind of adopting all those
characteristics. In fact, there's even a rumor that before he left the scene, Gaston shared with him some recipes for Jewish rye. I could have sworn he was a baker.
I can't stand it.
So he can bake bread.
I think you need a Gaston shirt.
Oh gosh, Gaston.
Just Gaston's Bakery.
He just wanted the bake bread.
Such a good line. It needs a shirt. And he needs a bakery name.
Apparently it also needs a line in the book, which maybe I made it up.
They should just change the next copies that come out.
Yeah.
As a baker.
I just want to bake bread.
He just wants to bake bread.
And anyway, I would love a sandwich from the Jewish rye. It would be
Please.
great. So, now Guts. They're in a battle. They're headed for the ship of...
Rod.
Yeah. I was going to call him Jeff. But Rod.
Why not Rodney?
Joffrey. Rod. It's just all wrong. Rod.
Oh,
he could be Sir Joffrey.
No.
He could be Sir Geoffrey.
No, because Joffrey was the worst. And Roderick's not a bad boy.
Yeah. I know. You kind of like...
You like him too.
I do.
You said he's growing on you.
But he's a handsome fellow, and that's why you like him.
No, I like him because he's not as suave and arrogant as he came across in the beginning. Like, I feel like he's not a coward.
No.
He fights. He's not too self-absorbed to like not see when he's wrong. Like when he realized like he did not read Farnese correctly, he adapted. He didn't like retreat. So I find that interesting. So I just think that like he comes off as this like pompous guy, but then when you get to know him, it's like he's not really about that life. He's just putting on airs.
I wonder if he and Magnifico will stay together very long.
I hope not.
I think he's going to realize I don't need Magnifico.
Yeah, no.
You know, go back to your banking.
And Magnifico, like, I think that Roderick just wanted Farnese and was like, this old doofus from college. I guess I could use him to my advantage. I don't think that they're like besties.
I don't. He was there to meet Farnese.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want to meet Farnese? She's a very attractive, intelligent woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's going to happen? I don't know. But I do know this, even though I'm no prophet, they're going to get to that ship. It's not going to be on fire. And they're going to sail off to the Elf King. And you know what that means? I have hope. Right there. Hope in my heart that the beloved Casca will come out of her dream state, her catatonic state, her kind of useless state. However, I'd protect her too. With my life, I'd protect her, the beloved Casca.
Please. Which means you have to start volume 11 and deluxe volume 11 and volume 31. And
should we tell them how you always torture me by not letting me read what I want to read?
Because if I let you read what you want to read and then we don't film for a week, you forget everything.
That's true.
Or if we film even the next day or 2 days later, I have to reread it to you.
Who's that fish?
Dory. Yeah. My sweet Dory. That's it. It must be done.
Yeah. Better get it while it's fresh in my mind.
Yes.
What were we talking about just now?
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, goodbye. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, and especially, we want to hear from you. We really want to hear from you. Crystal's going to hear from you. As you know, I'm not allowed to read the comments. I'm not allowed to read Berserk in advance, and I'm not allowed to read comments.
They're going to think that I chain you down.
No. They'll know better. but you always share them with me. But it goes through your screening, so I never get any advance notice of what might be happening. And that's the way it should be.
Although I will say the comments recently, like no one's really spoiling anything, especially on YouTube. I feel like people don't spoil. If they do spoil something, they'll like put like spoilers below, and then they'll put like a bunch of spaces down, so you have to open the thread to see it.
Oh,
so,
that's thank you, folks, for doing that.
They're very considerate. We love YouTube. YouTube is the best platform.
Yeah, it is wonderful.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll see you soon. Goodbye.